Yes, everyone. Hello, welcome to Forever United TV. I nearly said the title of the bloody channel wrong then. God, what a start to a Sunday morning that is. Let me off, it's a Sunday. Sorry, everyone. It's FUTV. I'm Adam. Welcome along. We've got loads to get through this morning. Manchester United updates, left, right, centre. Going right in on what Fabrizio Romano said first of all today regarding Rashford and Mbeumo and Marcus Rashford in particular. Big updates on them, significant updates on them. We're not going to fill you with a load of bull today that you've not already heard. I'm just going to get into the detail of what we could expect this week. Now, that's the part of the show that I want to concentrate on. That's the main aim for today, building us up to what's to come this week. Very interesting comments from Fabrizio Romano last night, and I'll go into detail on that. I want to tell you why I think it's a little bit different than what he said last night over the Rashford and Mbeumo saga in particular. Actually, no, it's just as important on the Marcus Rashford one. So them two, most of all, is what we want to get into, obviously, in the start of the show today. On top of that, we've actually got the updates on a few other things going on at Manchester United as well, regarding the midfielder situation, the forward situation, the goalkeeper situation. A touch on Jadon Sancho, not much on him, but I'll just keep you updated on what's been said so far today as well. Plenty to get through throughout as well, and get your morning chats in, everybody. Get yourselves comfortable. I'm guessing it was a hot night in England last night, difficult sleeping conditions. A similar situation here, but obviously I've got aircon, so it was a little bit more pleasant. So hopefully you're all okay. Grab your coffees, grab your fresh orange, and get settled in, ready for the Sunday morning show. We've got plenty to talk about and discuss, and I want loads of opinions. We're going to get loads more opinions from you all today as well. The last couple of shows I haven't brought up as many in the comment section, so I want to get loads of that in. But let's get into what's actually happening then and what Fabrizio Romano said. So I'm going to go right in with what he said regarding the situation with Rashford and Mbeumo. I think this is the most important one of all today. There's so many updates from last night that we need to get into. But I'm just going to read out exactly what Romano said on Rashford and Mbeumo first of all. And this could be an important week for United. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this could be massive, because we're expecting Rashford and Mbeumo back from his holiday. So this should significantly push forward anything either way, if he's coming or if he's not, to be honest. So we'll see tomorrow which colours he's wearing. More than likely be Brentford. But one thing before we get into what Romano said, if Rashford and Mbeumo does not turn up to Brentford training tomorrow, I think that's probably the biggest sign that something is happening and something is coming around this week. But here's what Romano said. He says, contacts are still ongoing between United and Brentford and others involved in the deal. Mbeumo still wants to go to Manchester United, and the club remain optimistic to get the green light and sign Rashford and Mbeumo in the next days. Still no breakthrough as of tonight, which was last night, but United keep working negotiations, keep advancing to find the right structure for the deal. Now, this is where he goes into a bit more detail on it. That would be your normal Romano fluff, and yeah, tell us something new, Fabrizio. And then he goes on to say, they're working on easier and more difficult add-ons. They are trying to make Brentford happy with their final proposal. United are on it, and the deal is completely alive. As of this weekend, United are prepared to push again to get Rashford and Mbeumo, a crucial target for their transfer window. He also goes on to say that Rashford and Mbeumo has again obviously committed himself to Manchester United. There's nowhere else that he wants to be, including Brentford. So yes, in terms of that. But that last paragraph there and the breakdown of that and what's important in that is Manchester United, the line there, they are trying to make Brentford happy with their final proposal. Final proposal. This is it. The next coming days, final proposal, working on more difficult and easier gettable add-ons, like we've been hearing all along. So the hold-up is the easier add-ons. It looks like Brentford want them to happen through Rashford and Mbeumo's performance rather than United's performances, as in United get into a certain position in the league or qualify for Europe, then Brentford get money. They don't want that. They want Rashford and Mbeumo to play a certain amount of games and significantly play a big part in Manchester United's season, and then they'll get the add-ons. Stuff like that. So it's difficult to negotiate exactly how Brentford want them, and that's what Romano's discussing there. But then them lines after that, they want to make Brentford happy with their final proposal. So it's on the add-ons. It's what Manchester United are working on right now, and this looks like it's a take it or leave it kind of situation right now. So United, realistically, where we're at where we're actually at this week is the next few days crucial. I think, obviously, with Bryan Mbeumo coming back, I think he wants to get going with his season. We all know from the reports yesterday from several journalists that Manchester United wants Bryan Mbeumo done and in before they fly out for the tour. Literally now a week away from flying out to the States for Manchester United's pre-season tour over there. So we have got this week. It's a massive week for Manchester United. And the final proposal statement there, well, not so much statement, but comments from Romano there, I think that's a hint as to what is coming. I'm guessing Romano doesn't want to give anything away just yet. He's waiting for that go-ahead, but I think from what he's been told there, from what he's explaining to us, I think he's probably as close to this deal now coming to its conclusion as we've ever been. I know it's obvious to say that. You could say, Adam, literally, we've been waiting 6 to 7 weeks, near enough now for this, and I'm sure it's going to come to an end soon, but Romano has always been very, very cautious with what he said on the Bryan Mbeumo situation. For him to say in the next few days and final proposal, for me, are quite big words to use in there. And that's what I've picked out from what Romano has actually said here with this one. So I think that, in the end, will be the decision that Brentford make again. I think Manchester United are not going to offer any more money. I think the money's already there. We don't know exactly how much it is. That is still speculation. Out of all of this, nobody knows what Man United have actually offered Brentford. So it's hard to say what's been rejected, what's not, if it has been rejected, if it just needs twisting or tweaking. But at the moment, it doesn't look like there is anything at all in terms of the so-called new bids. There is no new bid. There never was a third bid. It's always going to be about restructuring, like Romano said, the proposal. It's not an extra bid. It's like you're getting this money and that's it. We talked about Sir Jim not paying anymore and playing the long game. We'll tweak this, we'll work this, but the money that's exchanging hands overall, whether the add-ons are met or not, is not going to change. I think this is where we're at. So this crazy idea that United are going to pay 70 million is way off the mark. And I think what's happening now is the complications of this and where Manchester United are, they've thrown everything into this. Like what Laurie Whitwell said, there's so much work gone into this. And now we're at the final stages of that hard work going in. It will be tiny little minor details that are being absolutely scrutinised by Manchester United's negotiators and the management team right now. They are absolutely convinced that they're convinced themselves that they are not going to make the same mistakes again. And this will move on to the Rashford story in a minute, actually, what Romano was talking about as well and what I'm talking about here. But on this one, I want to get some comments in first of all from the chats. I did say I want to get a few more of your thoughts on this, but that's the update from Romano on Mbeumo. It is a case of be ready, Manchester United fans, something is coming. I think there's a big hint in that statement there from Romano on where we're at with Bryan Mbeumo, and I think this is now probably the most significant news that we've had, I think, over the last 3 weeks, to be honest, over Bryan Mbeumo. I think this week was always going to be crucial anyway, like we've said. Obviously, Mbeumo back from his holidays, and he wanted things sorting. Difference in that Romano has said that negotiating over the weekend, maybe tomorrow we'll hear something. I hope it's not while I'm flying back, because I do come home tomorrow, actually. But no, maybe tomorrow could be a big day for Manchester United when it comes to the negotiation side of things with this Mbeumo saga. I think this week, I think it comes to an end one way or another. I don't think Manchester United spend this much time and not get the man. I think they know that Brentford are happy with the money. They're confident that that money is enough, and it's just a case of giving them a little bit more straight away or easier to get a hold of, rather than making it completely difficult to get the whole value of what their offer is at the moment. So I think that is where we're actually at right now with it. And do you know what? Like I said, I'm to in, I'm throwing, I'm confident, I'm not confident. I'm thinking that there is there's a snag in this here. I'm thinking Brentford have tried to change something. No journalist has got any Scooby-Doo whatsoever on what is going on with the Bryan Mbeumo situation. I think the most significant one we can go to now is probably Romano. And no one else, including The Athletic, have got any idea what's going on. There will be an Ornstein bomb dropped at some point alongside this, because obviously there is a pecking order when it comes to the journalist and when they announce things. So I do feel like Ornstein will be the one that gets the nod and knows exactly what's happening, followed very, very quickly by Fabrizio Romano. The only difference in Romano and Ornstein is that Ornstein just doesn't tweet or go on shows as much as what Romano does. He's now a YouTuber, he's now seen and committed to that channel that he's got, so whenever he does anything or when he speaks, people are expecting him to do more and more. Ornstein has just taken a back seat. he probably knows just as much as what Romano does. So I expect because he was the first one to break it, he will be the next one to break it, and Romano will be close after that. But we just hear more from Fabrizio Romano because he's now on YouTube, and obviously he's doing shows everywhere. It's Romano where we're into. This is where we're at right now when it comes to transfer windows. So yeah, I think that's the lay of the land when it comes to the journalist and who is going to drop this news. So we'll wait for that and then we'll bring the full update. But from what he said there, I think it is pretty clear that this week is now massive for Manchester United. Sean, welcome. Sean Manchester, welcome to the Members Club, my friend. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. Mr. Creed MC says with a super chat, imagine if they're saving Mbeumo for the kit launch. I doubt it. I doubt it, mate. But he's away and hasn't had any sort of contact with Manchester United at all. So kit launches would be with players that are already at the football club. So that's not going to be anything I feel significant, to be honest. I don't think it's going to come into it. Manny says, final proposal is finishing touches. Welcome to Carrington, Brian Mbeumo, just in time for the kit launch. Well played, United. Well played. I like that sort of positive sort of mindset there, Manny. Keep it going, mate. And with another super chat says, you can win and still lose. Ineos think they are battling for a good deal, but they don't realise it's also making them look incompetent and slow. I disagree. Look, I get what you're saying there, Ant. In the eyes of Manchester United fans, it's making them look incompetent and slow. And let's be honest, we are the only ones, and that's the United fan base I'm talking about here, who are moaning. None of the journalists are. All the journalists know what's happening. Everybody at Manchester United is comfortable with the situation. It's only the fans, and the fans are the ones that are allowed to get angry because we're the ones that are paying. Nobody else is paying, although Sir Jim did put 300 million in, so I'm guessing he probably is getting impatient as well, but he's not dealing with it. He's the one that's employed this team, the best in class, to get these deals done. I don't think it's making them look incompetent at all, because I will only judge that once the deal is done. If the deal doesn't go through, I'm with you, Ant. You're dead right. It looks absolutely ridiculous. But if the deal happens, and all of a sudden we find out that it is a lot cheaper than what everyone's been rumoured and scaremongering amongst the journalist and media world to be in terms of this deal, then obviously we're going to be going, actually, well done, United, because they've actually got a really good deal there, and the player is still in. Yeah, maybe a week later than what they hoped, but he's still in, and it's still a really good deal for Manchester United. So I think, looking at it, I'll wait. I'll see what the deal does. I'll see what the deal is, sorry. I'll see what the price is and what Man United have got him for. And I'll pass judgment then, I think, on that one, on the Brian Mbeumo in particular. But yeah, I think it's going to be a case of, like, please make it happen. Otherwise, you are going to look like complete idiots. But yeah, let's just wait it out, is what I say. That's what I say. Journalists aren't supposed to moan. They're there to do a reporting job. Yeah, I know that. But they could also report how incompetent Manchester United are, and none of them are. And let's not forget, these journalists would go in on Manchester United at any given chance. Don't forget that, Keith, because that's the point I'm trying to make here. We're moaning. The journalists are not so much moaning. I probably explained that wrong when I said it a minute ago. They're not reporting about Manchester United incompetence. They're reporting about Manchester United being calm, actually happy with where they're at, not wanting to make mistakes, looking at everything. And on the club, listen to what Laurie Whitwell said. They're thinking about all the jobs that have just been cut. They don't want to be seen to be just throwing money around because they've now gained all this money from cutting jobs at Manchester United. They're taking into consideration a lot of things that they have already done as well in this deal, and they're being very, very cautious with what they're doing. And something that United have never done before. The old Man United might have got this done quicker, but they might have just thrown millions at it. So, again, I'm willing to wait it out and see what the deal is before I make my judgment on this. A lot of people have already made their minds up, but how would you feel if you actually found out, having been one of these fans that was moaning their asses off, saying that we are going nowhere with this ownership model, and all of a sudden you found out that Manchester United had actually done a really good deal with Brian Mbeumo? That, again, I think is something that we just need to remember. Let's see. I'm quickly getting across a lot of information coming in at the moment as well. Okay, Alejandro Garnacho has rejected a move to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia to prioritise staying in Europe. That's from Mike McGrath. So there has been an offer for Garnacho by the sounds of it. He wasn't on my list of topics today, but that's just come across now. We'll maybe jump on that a bit later on in the show as well. But I always knew, and I mentioned this, I think it was yesterday, Argentina, I've told Garnacho he needs to be playing in a top league if he wants to get into the World Cup squad. So Garnacho's never going to move to Saudi Arabia. So that was off. Obviously, it'd be great for United, but from a player's point of view, he's 20. He wants to be in the World Cup squad. He's not going to go Saudi Arabia, is he? He'd been told he needs to play in Spain, Italy, or the Premier League. They're the top three divisions. I'm sure he could go Liga and into the Bundesliga as well, get in there, but I think we can see him going Premier League, Spain, Italy, one of them divisions I think is where he needs to be playing. And that makes total sense as well on that one. Just quickly on the goalkeeping situation again, on the interest in goalkeeper John Victor. Manchester United are ready to trigger Botafogo goalkeepers John Victor's 5.9 million release clause. Again, more news coming out on that this morning over the last hour. Back into what we was talking about though regarding the Bryan Mbeumo situation, all of your comments. We're going to move on to Rashford next and what Romano has said there. But quickly, let's get a few more in. Always was going to be around the kit launch. Don't forget, we are a commercial club. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Honestly, I don't read into that too much. I get what you're saying, I do. I think it is it's probably a little bit more profitable to announce a player alongside a new kit coming out, and it is the I think it's it's purplish and white. Why can't I say that word? Purplish. What's the other colour that's close to purple? Is it violet? I don't know even know. I'm crap with colours. I can't remember what it is, but it's like that light purple colour and white one that's coming out, and that's I think to put a new player in that and launch it, yeah, that's maybe good, but he's nowhere near Manchester United yet, so I can't see it. It'd be good to see him in the actual kit, but I don't think it's going to come for the launch. I really don't. Let's see what else we've got in here comment-wise quickly as well before we move on. Let's see. People talking amongst themselves here about how long it's taken Arsenal to make deals as well. It takes a long time sometimes. Another one there, Ginge says, new kit released this week and Mbeumo suddenly closer. Very deliberate. Are we bothered about that? Are we just saying that this is clever from United, or are people moaning about it? I'm trying to figure out how the mood is here and how people are putting these comments in. Let's just see. Yeah, this is the thing. Again, it's like Kaz has just said to me there as well. Integration with the club and integration with the team. Why would they prioritise that more than doing a kit launch? It just wouldn't. Like everyone was talking to me yesterday about pre-season and saying how important pre-season is, and now it's the kit launch. I really don't think it is. I don't see that personally. I don't. I'm all for us trying to break the cycle of throwing money at things. The problem is patience in our fan base is in short supply after finishing 15th. I get it, but again, like 15th, season's not started. At the end of the window, I think we can all be making these comments. I understand the concern within the comments, and I get what you're saying there. It is a significant thing to bring up because we have finished 15th, and I get that. It was a disastrous season. But I think finishing 15th and not being in the Champions League obviously put us all on red alert into what we could do this transfer window as well. So I think that is probably weighing more on my mind than anything else. And I don't actually mind this deal going all the way till the end of the window. I don't. As long as we get him. I know the position Manchester United are in, and I'm always aware that it's going to be difficult for United to negotiate any deal this summer. And it's going to be really, really interesting now what happens with everything that's going on with the player sales coming up next. Love listening to your morning whilst I'm working. Much better and engaging than some other someone else who insults fans. Yes, I appreciate that, mate. You won't get insults on this channel because everyone's opinion is completely valid, mate. And I've always said that from the get-go. That's why we are nearly at 90,000 subscribers. We're about 20 something away, I think. I can't even see what the total is at the moment on my screen, so it's really annoying. So we may get there while we're on the show. We might be later on today, but I think today's the day when we hit 90k. So boom, get in there. Adam, a lot of fans didn't live through the hard years and grew up watching us smash everybody. Yes, that's the point, Annie. Fans really need to research the history of United to get a realistic view and expectations. You're born when you're born. You're born into whatever era it is. I think it's difficult. That's why I love listening to new fans and their perspective. I like getting some of the old school fans because that's more where I am. I grew up watching United in the 80s when we really weren't that good. We were a cup team. Coming through Ron Atkinson into Sir Alex Ferguson, early years, like the transformation of what Fergie did to this team. I can remember it still as a kid. I can still remember standing on the terraces at Old Trafford for my first game. I think it was against QPR. And just a transformation. And going from the expected disappointment to the jubilation of being a really big football club, a juggernaut, in fact. I'm lucky to have seen some of the bad and then obviously come through into the glory years. It's been really good. By the way, we are actually into the last 17 subscribers. So we're 17 away from 90k, which isn't bad at all. Anyway, I need to get through a couple more chats quickly before we move on. Loads of opinion this morning. I love it. Keep them coming in, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved. Roz with a super chat says, saw something earlier in the window that said Ineos met with Amorim and there is a set window for players leaving. When and how much they figure to want. That part is huge for me. Keep the pedal down. Moving on to that, Manny's just taken us straight into the Marcus Rashford situation and where we're at with this one. So, updates on Marcus Rashford. Before we get into the Romano stance on Marcus Rashford, Dario AS, who is the publication over there in Spain, have said this. Manchester United are asking for 48 million euros. You break that down, just over 41 million quid, pound sterling. They want that for Rashford. Hansi Flick reportedly gave the go-ahead for the operation. Since at Barcelona, he's seen as an easier option than Luis Diaz. So that's Dario AS talking there. Then from Marca, obviously we know who Marca are. God. So this is all from Spain. Barcelona are aware Marcus Rashford is willing to lower his salary to join the club. Manchester United are now also willing to accept a loan, but they would only accept it with a mandatory purchase option after the loan expires. I've seen a lot of opinions online on social media of people saying that we shouldn't do the loan because we've made a mess up of that before with Jadon Sancho. It's not the case. It isn't the case. It's learn from your mistakes and actually this time get the loan done right. So, on to what Romano said. Before I break that down, let's just go through what Romano actually said regarding Marcus Rashford. So, Romano on Marcus Rashford reads this. Marcus Rashford's dream is to play for Barcelona. Barcelona have still not decided whether they want him or other targets, but they know the conditions to the deal. No negotiations currently between the clubs. So you've got there the Dario AS, the Marca, the publications over in Spain saying that Barcelona are ready to go. And then Fabrizio Romano pours cold water on that by saying they still don't know which way they want to go. What Romano's doing there, I think, is making it clear that communication is there and we are literally now at a point where Barcelona know the conditions. Romano has said that. So they know what Marcus Rashford's willing to do. They know where Manchester United stand. They know that Manchester United actually want 41 million quid for Marcus Rashford. They also know that they're open for a loan, but it has to have an obligation at the end of it. So it's not like Manchester United's are not communicating at all with Barcelona. It's not like Marcus Rashford's story has been put to bed by Fabrizio Romano completely here. I think what Romano's done now is just been very, very careful. He's been very careful that he's not gone and jumped in too much onto this. We're not at negotiation stages yet for Marcus Rashford. I think what's happening now, everyone's gathering their thoughts, I think, and everyone's just looking at what is possible at Barcelona. Obviously, after losing Nico Williams, Luis Diaz looks like he's heading to Germany to Bayern Munich. No more options really there. There's the Lookman story from Atalanta that I mentioned last night. But for Manchester United, the loan side of things, and it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this, everybody in the live chat as well. And do, if you are watching later on as well, and you've got up late on a Sunday, how dare you? You should be watching the show and being one of them 13 more people I need to get 90,000 subscribers. Not mentioning it. I'm not pushing it at all. It's just be good to get there. But give me your thoughts on Marcus Rashford on the loan. Now, a lot of people online, like I've said, have been talking about this, and we've had our fingers burnt by Jadon Sancho before. Don't make the same mistake again. Basically, people driving that horrible negative agenda again as to, like, oh, don't be stupid. Like, remember what happened last summer? Like, Ineos' first summer, they ballsed up. They kept Ten Hag in when they knew they didn't want him. They should have just made a decision. For the benefit of United, Ten Hag and Ruben Amorim and the transfer window, they should have made a decision. They didn't. And it's Ineos' fault. They were in charge of the situation and they ballsed it up. That's fine. And it got a bit chaotic. Last summer, we made some good signings, and I still rate the people we brought in. But in the carnage and in the mess that was, obviously, Jadon Sancho, he's going Juventus, he's not, he's moving here, he's not moving there, and then bang, last minute, wasn't it? Jadon Sancho, loan move. So we probably got a loan fee, got most of his wages covered, and Jadon Sancho was out of the door. It was a Ten Hag dealing, wasn't it? We needed him gone for the sake of Ten Hag. He had the massive fallout with him. And do you know what? Ten Hag was right with Jadon Sancho. I backed him all the way. And I said it at the time. You can go and check that, because everyone thinks I have this personal agenda against Ten Hag. Honestly, it was what it was. I think he just gave up on what his actual philosophy was. But on Sancho, on Ronaldo, he was right. Bang on the money. And United forced Sancho out of the door. And they made a mistake in doing so without that condition to be completely concrete, as in Chelsea will have a contract by a certain point of the season for Jadon Sancho. Otherwise, there's another penalty on top. Look, they didn't negotiate a contract between Sancho and Chelsea. That was the biggest problem. With loan and obligations, you usually get a contract negotiated with the player mid-season, and then when the season finishes, that all gets confirmed. That did not happen. I think because United rushed it through, I think they made the mistake there. A mistake that they will never make again. So if there is going to be a loan for Barcelona, there will be a strict obligation in place, is what is being reported now. I haven't got a problem with that. I've always been aware that with 3 years left on his contract, yes, Manchester United could do with selling Marcus Rashford, and we could do with getting him off the books. But if there is a loan fee and an obligation and the majority of his wages paid this season, then the obligation kicks in next year. His wages are not on the books this year. You've got a loan fee which goes towards next summer anyway. And that obligation then next summer comes when Marcus Rashford has got 1 year left, 1 year less on his contract, and less to actually subsidise. I mean, less to pay off when you sell him. Because obviously there is that severance pay. You have to cut the contract off when you sell a player. So United will have to spend money to get rid of Marcus Rashford's contract as well when he signs for Barcelona. With 2 years left on his deal, it'll be something maybe in the region of a 10 million. So Rashford gets a big bumper payment up front as a severance pay, gets his new wage at Barcelona, signs. Manchester United then get whatever they want in this obligation that they're negotiating this summer, and everybody's happy and moves away. I just think with 2 years left on his deal, it's probably easy for Man United to sell him next summer. And I think realistically, if his wages are off the book, or the majority of them are off the book for a full season, you're probably saving, if Barcelona are still contributing, Manchester United this season will save approximately 10 to 15 million in wages of Marcus Rashford's. That's quite big. That is quite big when it comes to PSR. And if you get a loan fee, a little bit more money in the bag, that's how United will work it. But there has to be that obligation right at the end to convince Manchester United that this is worth the loan move this summer. So very, very strict sort of conditions for Manchester United, it would seem. 41 million seems quite substantial, to be honest. You're banking on Marcus Rashford actually having a good season. And do you know what? I think his numbers will... I think he'll probably get... If he's playing regular, which again is my biggest concern with the Barcelona move, I think his numbers will be right up there. He will look like a really good player in Barcelona numbers territory because he's got all the Champions League games to play. He's got the cup games to play over there. Obviously, there are given league games over in La Liga, sorry. And he's probably going to play a few of them. He'll score goals, guaranteed, because he'll get service and some from them players he's got there. I think Marcus Rashford has easily got the capabilities of bagging 20 goals next season for Barcelona. Easily. As long as he does that and he stays fit, then he's probably worth that obligation at the end. Worst case scenario, we have another balls up of a loan deal. There is no obligation there. And he comes back. At least he's probably worth a little bit more because he's had an all right season and we'll probably find it easier to sell him next season. But if this is a dream move for Marcus Rashford, then he's not going to be looking at a dream move for 1 year, is he? Surely him and his own conditions, he's wanting a little bit of commitment from Barcelona in all of this. I'm going off what's been said and what's been written here. Apparently this is the dream move for Marcus Rashford, the boyhood Manchester United fan who loves Manchester United and not 2 years ago was signing a brand new deal at Manchester United on mega wages. Yeah, okay, I believe that dream move one. I think it's more in line with you've had your arse handed to you and you've had your wings clipped and now all of a sudden you picked up one with a big club and gone, that's my dream move. I think he could have gone anywhere and said that that's my dream move. He probably had a dream move of Real Madrid, but he knows he's got no chance of getting in there. He's probably looked at a few different teams and gone, who's got some players missing? Oh yeah, Lewandowski's aging. Barcelona's my dream move. That's just me. I'm having a go. I'm sorry. That's just that's my love for Marcus Rashford for you right there, everyone. Right. Let's just check on anything else that's come through. Did you see all of the situation with Victor Gyökeres yesterday, by the way? Aren't you glad that United are not involved in that right now? A few people are actually saying that Manchester United could still sneak in on the blind side if the sporting stance with Victor Gyökeres' saga with Arsenal continues and still come in and take Victor Gyökeres. He is apparently now, according to the president, going to be making a public apology because unless Arsenal come forward with that money up front, he ain't moving. We're well away from that right now. Thank God that Manchester United are not involved in that one. Can you imagine the absolute media meltdown if it was Manchester United dealing with the Victor Gyökeres situation right now? I mean, seriously, we'd have been hung, drawn and quartered by the world media if this was us. But yeah, let Arsenal do all the dog work. And then if it falls through, maybe Manchester United come in and just go, hey, Sporting, do you want to just do a deal and get him out of there? I would love it if that happened. It would be great, wouldn't it? But let's get some more comments on Marcus Rashford first of all before we move on, because we do have some updates on Manchester United's striker situation to come as well. Let's see what we've got here. I hope the lad does well, to be honest. Just wish it was all over. I think we do. I think we just want him to do well because it helps us make more money. Rashford will look a good player while sitting on the bench at Barcelona. That from Ian. Again, that goes into what I was saying. I don't get I never have got the Barcelona move for Rashford. Will he play enough? Will he play enough to get into that Tuchel side? I don't know. I don't think so. But again, Tuchel really does like him. And if he gets 30 games through a season with all the games that Barca have got, which I think he will get, I think it's probably enough to get into the squad. He's definitely not going to be a first-team starter. 100%. Daz says, I believe the value of players depends on where you finish in the league. If we were top 4, we get 60, 70 million for Ghana. Easy. You could probably argue that point. Yeah. I mean, look at Liverpool and what they're doing. Harvey Elliott, 40, 45 million. Anthony Elanga at Nottingham Forest, he's 55 million. Teams up there actually do look like they've got better players, and the appeal is there and more money. Where you're down at the bottom, everybody's trying to take advantage of you because you look a little bit more desperate. And I think there's a few teams that are probably going to try and do that to Manchester United this summer. So I think we are preparing ourselves for that sort of reality. it's going to be a tough old slog in selling these players. But Rashford, I think that Romano story, by the way, is quite positive. I think it's, in the way that he said it, it's not completely cold water in it. Now, Romano loves that. Any stories that we have talked about, I got shivered then, bloody hell. I think he's talking about Marcus Rashford. Oh, he's watching. He's watching. Anyway, yeah. In the Rashford one with Romano, I would say the fact that he said Barcelona are aware of the conditions. So any movement now is good for Manchester United. So any movement towards Marcus Rashford from Barca, I think is really good news now, because they know what Man United want. So them knowing that and then entering into negotiations, if that news comes about, then I think we can pretty much look at that as like, right, okay, this is nailed on now. There is going to be a deal between United and Barcelona. And I think that's how we got to look at it now. It's like Romano's just teed us up a little bit here with this one. I think that's where we're actually at with this deal. I'm going to get through some more comments, but we need to get through quite a bit more news right now. Apparently, Manchester United are preparing themselves for another bid from Juventus. 15 million euros is the one that's on the table at the moment. They're hoping that that's going to be enough to tempt Manchester United into a deal. That near enough breaks what Manchester United need for getting rid of Jadon Sancho. Tiny little bit of profit on top, maybe. We talked about that last night. That's still the story and where it is with Jadon Sancho at the moment. Richard Rios, the midfield situation right now. Getting all of these reports out of the way before we move on to the striker situation as well. So Richard Rios looks like he's actually making an effort to join Roma as well, taking out his 10% fee also, which he's guaranteed from Palmeiras for the sale, to facilitate the move to Roma. So Rios is going out of his way to actually get this deal done. So it looks like we're losing another midfield option there in Richard Rios. And West Ham are in for Douglas Luiz as well now. I can see that happening because they've just sold Kudus and they've got the money to buy him. I could really see Douglas Luiz ending up in London now. It just makes you think, doesn't it? With them two stories there, that's Rios and Douglas Luiz, two targets that have been well documented and well spoken about as real targets for Manchester United this summer going. Well, not Douglas Luiz yet. Rios is obviously the closest, but what are United's options in midfield? What are we doing? We know that Hayden Hackney's got about 7 Premier League clubs after him. We know that Rios is heading to Roma. We know, obviously, we can't afford Adam Wharton. I'm looking at him going, I'm running out of midfielders for Manchester. I don't know what the plan is. Is there something that we don't know about? Is there a surprise package coming for Manchester United when it comes to the midfielder at the moment? All the news is of targets for Manchester United that we are looking at going elsewhere. And this, like, I could look at it in a few different ways. I could say I'm concerned here because Manchester United are putting all their efforts into Rashford and Mbeumo, like the journalists have said, and nothing else matters. And all of our other targets are being whipped up, snapped up by other football clubs, and we're going to miss out. I could be concerned at that. I think I'd be valid to be concerned about that. I'm also thinking, surely there's a plan for a midfielder. Like, everyone has said that Manchester United are looking for an energetic, athletic midfielder to come in. And I'm looking at him and going, Rios is exactly that. That's what Man United really need right now. And he's gone. I'm looking at Douglas Luiz potentially going back to Villa or West Ham. There's more talk of that than anything else at the moment. There's another one gone. And I'm looking at the other midfield options that we've been looking at as well. And I'm going, yeah, Jazeera, he looks like he's going off to AC Milan from what we've heard. That's another one. Hackney, like I said, going to another Premier League club. Paulinho, does the Paulinho story come back into this here for United? Maybe we get clever with loans. I actually feel like the midfielder is going to be a player that's negotiated through maybe a loan or a cheap buy. Is it indeed there? I mean, like, this is what I'm starting to think now. Because I think the end is coming for the Mbeumo saga, and that's now literally on the edge of completion, one way or the other. And then, obviously, we're moving on to selling players, which we've just spoken about there. But what about that midfielder? It really intrigues me to like look ahead to think where United are actually going with that, because when you think about it, even before that, Manchester United need a striker. So we've got that before the midfielder. So it just makes you realise, in the amount of time left in the window, Manchester United have actually got a lot of work to do. And again, I think once the players have been sold, we will really see what Manchester United are made of in this transfer window. But I would not be surprised if there was a cheaper striker option in, and a loaned midfielder in, and then a cheap goalkeeper. So, like we said before, John Victor in as a goalkeeper, 5.6 million. Manchester United maybe loan in a midfielder like Paulinho, and that's another player in there. Manchester United have got Mbeumo, they've got Cunha. Maybe we'd end up buying or taking Vlahovic on a free transfer, or another one of these players. I don't see United spending a lot of money. I don't see United spending more than 30 million on a player after Mbeumo is signed. And that's going to be interesting what United do. The last good loan deal Manchester United ever did was bringing Carlos Tevez in for 2 years. Man, how we negotiated that one, God only knows, but that was a fantastic deal that we did there. Obviously, I'm not expecting that to happen again, but I do actually think that Manchester United may be looking at cheaper options. Still good players, depending on what loans we can get and things like this. I don't see us spending significant money after Mbeumo with the financials that have been reportedly, or what's reportedly out there at the moment for Manchester United anyway. I have got some striker updates to come, some stuff that's flying around the media world at the moment. But first of all, let's get through a few of these chats. Super chats in from Manny says, if we take ENQUIRIES now, we as a club deserve to be relegated and have not learned anything. Fans need to move on. I disagree, Manny. Some people could look at this as a clever deal. Manchester United doing what Manchester United have done to them. Negotiate a whole summer for a player, and then somebody else comes in and takes him. Maybe United are going to do this. I don't know. I honestly don't see us spending big money like I just said. So still convinced that ENQUIRIES is not coming to Manchester United, and neither of the big strikers that we've been reported a link with are going to come to United. I just don't see it happening. By the way, everybody, thank you. You have got over 500 likes on the video already, which is massive. If you haven't already, pop a thumbs up on the video, everyone. Absolutely smashing it today as well. I think we're only... we're less than 10. I think we're around about, was it 6 or 7 subscribers away from 90,000. It'd be great to make it. I don't like to drive home the sub thing all of the time. It's not really my style, although I do talk about it at the end of the shows a bit. You know what I'm saying. It's just nice to get it while we're actually live. So again, if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button, like the video as well. Brits Abroad Super Chat says, Adam, who do you fancy as a striker who we can realistically sign? I'm Vlahovic, and I would try my luck with Ramos at PSG. If not, then Mateta at Palace. Yeah, I would take, realistically right now, I don't think Mateta's realistic, because I think Palace want 50 million. And we ain't got that money. So, I get the Ramos one, because that would be a loan, I think. I don't think United can afford to buy anyone right now of that calibre. I'm not saying he's the best striker in the world, but I would loan Ramos, yes. If we didn't have another option, I would definitely approach PSG and say we're willing to take him and pay his wages. I need to check that, actually. Let's just see what he's actually on. Right. Sorry, no, wrong one. It's Gonzalo, isn't it? God's sake. Right. Let's see what Gonzalo Ramos' salary actually is. I've not checked this, so this could be something ridiculous, and this could be completely off. So this is all live and happening now, everybody. So I'm learning as much as you. Is this verified? Yes, it is. He is on. Ooh, if that is real, then I'm taking Gonzalo Ramos on loan right now. We'll pay all of your wages. We'll take him off your books, PSG, for a year. Right, so his contract expires on June 30th, 2028, so we've got 3 years left to go. Maybe Manchester United look at Gonzalo Ramos, potentially, because he's on £91,000 a week with 0 bonuses. That is absolute peanuts when it comes to PSG. Man, they did well in negotiating that deal. So he's on approximately 4.7 million a year, sterling this as well, converted it from euros. So he's on 91 grand a week. That fits right into Manchester United's financials. I would go and loan Ramos. So to answer that question, mate, I think Ramos would be a great idea, and I would loan him if we could. Vlahovic on a free transfer, loan in Ramos, 2 strikers in. See if you can move Rasmus Højlund on before the end of the window. It's great FIFA, isn't it? But yeah, in the real world. By the way, 3 subscribers away, just mentioning. Thanks everyone. If Brentford pull their heads out and sign off Mbeumo to United, is Ederson still a possibility for us, or is it one or the other? Now, Ederson was the one player that I didn't bring up in that conversation on midfield then, because I don't want to jinx it, because I would take him in a heartbeat. Apparently it's 50 million quid though. Are United about to spend 50 million on a midfielder? This one is pending Garnacho, all of it. I think United, if they know they can get a top target, they will go for him, and then I think they will make do in other areas of the pitch, i.e. striker, like we just said. You could get Vlahovic and Gonzalo Ramos in at Manchester United, who are both going to compete for that number 9 spot for nothing because of the loan and obviously the free agent thing, and beyond less than what Marcus Rashford is on, and that's after we take the subsidisation of his wages with Barcelona's loan. It tells you exactly where Manchester United went wrong when giving these contracts out. The fact that you could get Vlahovic and Gonzalo Ramos in on a wage less than what Marcus Rashford's on right now combined, and that's with what Manchester United are being paid by Barcelona as well. That, I think, is a way that Manchester United could look at it. And that's how I think we might look at it if we're looking to bring in someone like Ederson. So, for instance, if we're going to go for a big target, then I think if it's going to be a midfielder like Ederson, then we'd probably do something make weight up front. And not just to disrespect Ramos or Vlahovic. They are nobody's top targets up front. But we are looking now into a situation where we're at in this window where it could be needs must, and that could be the situation we're in. Praying the silence on an 8 means there's a plan. Yeah, I'm with that one as well, and I'm hoping that there is something in this. Manny with another super chat says, I'll say it again, Adam. Trincao, 30 million euros. Knows Bruno and Amarim's system. I know you and Antiel will come around eventually. No, mate, he's not coming because we're going for Mbeumo. That's the realistic look on it anyway. By the way, everybody, FUTV has just hit 90,000 subscribers. Absolutely mega. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely buzzing that has happened while we're live as well. I really do appreciate all of your work alongside what I do as well, because it does take a lot of commitment to be consistently on these shows as well, and I love that. This is our channel, not just mine, and I love it. I can't live without it, and I know a lot of you are the same, so massive thank you again. 90k in the bag. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely buzzing with that. And nearly 600 live likes as well. A few more chats coming in. Mr. Dacia Sandero says, Rasmus will improve greatly after a good pre-season under Amarim with Cunha, Ahmad, Bruno, Xerxes and Mbeumo around him. You'll see, if he doesn't, mate, his career is doomed. But again, like I've said, when it comes to Rasmus Højlund, has Ruben Amorim got the time in his own situation to actually mature Rasmus Højlund into the striker he needs? And the answer to that is no, he hasn't got the time. So it's like, do it now or don't situation with Rasmus Højlund. That's where we're at. You Can't Compete has gifted a membership as well. Congratulations on the 90k, everyone coming in with them comments. Thank you very much. Love it. Cheers, everybody. Would you take Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea? That was the other story that was going around. Honestly, sling your hook. See you later. Not even considering that as an option for Manchester United. Chelsea want, get this, Chelsea want 60 million quid for Nicholas Jackson. So we can safely say that Manchester United are never, ever going to be bidding for Nicholas Jackson. Sometimes it makes me wonder. It really does. Sometimes it actually, I look at some of these situations with what Chelsea's pricing is and other football clubs' pricing of certain players, and I actually look at what Brentford's stance is with Mbeumo and go, no wonder they want that much for this bleeding player. Look at the ridiculous pricing for this other guy. God. Ray says, Amorim got the time because how you fire other managers and spend the money you have. Not sure what that means there, Ray, actually, mate. Let's see what else we've got in here. Congratulations on the 90k. Cheers, everyone. Loads of comments coming in on that. We did it. The target was 90k before the start of the season. So yeah, let's look at that and go, well done. Wow. God. Right. By the way, yeah, again, just on the Nicholas Jackson thing, Amorim does not want Nicholas Jackson. I'm telling you right now, he is not one of his top targets. That story is complete and utter made up baloney. Complete baloney. Trust me on this one. He's never signing Nicholas Jackson. Not in a million years. Andrew, thank you for that gifted membership, buddy. Really do appreciate all of these coming in right now. Matt and Emma Williams, congratulations on 90k. Lots of United content around, but you are a breath of fresh air, mate. I love comments like that. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate them. Quickly, everybody, as well. Also, I haven't got all of the extra bits to bring up on the screen because I'm obviously in Greece at the moment doing the content, but a massive shout out to our match sponsors, Match Bingo. Now this week we are starting to do all of the specials again on Match Bingo because United's pre-season is about to start, and yes, we are going to cover the friendlies for pre-season with Match Bingo. So we're going to have Match Bingo events for Manchester United's games in pre-season. God, shirt's falling off my bleed now. We're going to be doing some FUTV specials coming up as well. So please do, if you haven't already, scan the QR code on your screen or click on the description, click on the link in the description for Match Bingo. Download the app. All you have to do as a new customer right now is deposit £5, you'll get £10 added extra to that. The games are £2 a card. So all of the match events come and are laid out for you. All you have to do is pick the game you want and buy a card and then play bingo against what actually happens in the game. It is so much fun. It's brilliant. And we have got loads of plans for this as well coming up. Something special might actually be on the horizon involving FUTV on Match Bingo. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because it's still in a talks form and might not happen, but it's looking really positive right now on this. So do that. Also, anyone who has downloaded it already, not just you as new customers for Match Bingo, you are also, if you have downloaded the app already, going to be given the new promo codes for FUTV coming up as well, which will boost your earnings as well on and will give you more actually from Match Bingo as well. So we've got new promo codes coming and new specials coming up this month now on Match Bingo. So download the app, deposit £5, get involved. You are missing out if you aren't on it. I play it all the time and we're going to be doing a load of watch-alongs along with Match Bingo and playing it at the same time this season coming up as well. Got loads of plans for it, so a massive shout out to them again. You Can't Compete, thank you very much for that, gifting the membership. A mega super chat in from Silel, thank you, I think that's how you say it. Congratulations on 90k, Adam. Congratulations 90k, mate. Adam and Kaz, have yourselves a well-deserved drink. I will go and get Kaz the cocktail of her choice at the poolside now from that, buddy. It's all inclusive, so I don't have to spend money on that right now. But, mate, absolutely love that. Thank you so much for all the contributions and celebrating 90k on Forever United TV. I'm going to wrap the video up there. Kaz is calling me. She says you need to take a break. You need to get poolside. And we need to get on with the rest of our day. Last day here, so I will keep you updated with everything that's going on. And that will be that for now, everybody. Thank you so much. Mods, fantastic job. Everyone contributing, celebrating 90k. Get your comments in below. Let me know on all of the topics from the show. And I will see you all later on. Let's hope that we do